The glass shatters before anyone can breathe. Water explodes across white linen, crystal shards skittering toward the edge of the table like panicked insects. The child's hand hovers in midair, frozen, fingers still curved around the ghost of what she just dropped. Her eyes go wide, not with surprise but with terror. She knows what comes next. The dining room of the Regal Oak holds its breath. Silverware stops moving. Conversations die mid-sentence. Even the soft jazz bleeding from hidden speakers seems to pause, waiting for the violence everyone expects. But Raina Brooks doesn't flinch. She steps forward, her pressed black vest catching the glow of the gold sconces overhead, and her voice cuts through the silence like a hand reaching into cold water. "You're safe." 2 words. Quiet. Certain. The little girl blinks. Once. Twice. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. She looks at Raina like she's just heard a language that doesn't exist in her world. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The man seated across from the child doesn't move. His suit is sharp enough to cut glass. His posture too controlled to be natural. Ink crawls up the side of his neck in patterns that whisper stories the room doesn't want to hear. His eyes, dark, unreadable, track Raina's every movement like a predator watches prey. But he says nothing. Raina crouches down, her knees touching the carpet, and begins picking up the larger shards with bare hands. The child watches, breath shallow, as if waiting for punishment that never arrives. "It's just water," Raina murmurs, her tone steady, almost soothing. "Happens all the time. No harm done." The girl's fingers twitch. She opens her mouth again, and this time, a single syllable escapes, soft, broken, barely audible over the hum of the restaurant. "Sorry." Raina pauses. She looks up, meeting the child's gaze, and smiles. Small, genuine, the kind of smile that costs nothing and means everything. Nothing to be sorry for. Across the room, a server leans toward another and whispers behind her hand. A man in a gray suit shifts in his seat, eyes darting toward the exit. Someone's phone buzzes on a nearby table, and the sound feels too loud, too sharp. The man with the neck tattoos finally speaks. "You're patient." His voice is low, smooth, but there's weight behind it. The kind of weight that makes people choose their next words carefully. Raina straightens, balancing the shards on a small tray. She doesn't look away from him, doesn't shrink. "I work with people, kids especially. They're not trying to cause trouble. They're just trying to be heard." For a moment, something flickers behind his eyes. Not anger, not surprise. Something deeper, harder to name. He leans back in his chair, fingers drumming once against the armrest. Interesting perspective. Raina doesn't respond. She finishes clearing the table, replaces the ruined cloth with a fresh one, and sets down a new glass of water, this time placing it farther from the child's reach. The little girl watches her every move. Her shoulders, which have been locked tight as steel cables, begin to relax. Just slightly, just enough. Raina turns to leave, but a small hand shoots out and grabs the edge of her vest. The grip is desperate. The man's eyes narrow. The entire room seems to tilt forward, leaning into the moment. Raina looks down. The child's fingers are trembling, but they don't let go. Her lips move again, forming a word too quiet for anyone else to hear. But Raina hears it, and her heart stops. Across the restaurant, near the entrance, a man in a dark coat lowers his phone. His eyes lock on Raina. He doesn't smile. He doesn't look away. He just watches. And then, slowly, deliberately, he raises the phone again, and the camera lens catches the light. What did the child whisper that made Raina freeze? The second spill happens fast. One moment, the new glass sits safely in the center of the table. The next, the child's elbow jerks sideways, knocking it into the air. This time, the water doesn't just splash, it erupts. It soaks the tablecloth, floods over the edge, and splashes onto the polished floor in a violent spray. Gasps ripple through the dining room. A woman 2 tables over clutches her pearls. A waiter near the kitchen door stops mid-step, tray tilting in his hands. The man in the gray suit mutters something under his breath and shakes his head. But Reina doesn't hesitate. She moves before the water even finishes spreading, pulling a dry towel from her apron and pressing it against the table's edge. Her hands work quickly, efficiently, like she's done this 1,000 times before. "It's okay," she says again, louder this time, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "Just an accident." The little girl's face crumples. Her bottom lip trembles. Tears gather at the corners of her eyes, but she blinks them back, hard, like crying is a crime she can't afford to commit. The man with the tattoos watches in silence. His jaw tightens. His fingers curl into a fist against the armrest. But he still doesn't speak. A voice cuts through from across the room. Sharp, impatient, dripping with judgment. Maybe someone should teach that child some manners. The words hang in the air like smoke. Reina straightens. Slowly, deliberately, she turns toward the voice. A middle-aged man in an expensive watch and a condescending smirk. Her expression doesn't change. Her tone stays calm, but there's steel underneath. She's a child, not a performance. The man blinks, caught off guard. His smirk falters. Reina turns back to the table, kneeling beside the little girl. She lowers her voice, just for her. "You're doing fine. Don't listen to them." The child stares at her, wide-eyed, like she's just witnessed something impossible. No one has ever defended her before. The tattooed man's gaze shifts from Reina to his daughter, then back again. Something unreadable passes across his face, surprise, maybe, or respect. Near the entrance, the man in the dark coat taps his phone screen twice. A message sends. 3 words. It's her. Confirmed. He slips the phone into his pocket, adjusts his collar, and walks out into the night. But before he disappears, he glances back one last time and smiles. Who just marked Reina as a target, and why? The man's voice is quiet when he finally speaks. "Come here." Reina pauses mid-step, her hand still holding the damp towel. She turns slowly, meeting his gaze. His expression hasn't changed, still unreadable, still controlled. But there's something different in his tone now. Not a request, a command. She walks back to the table. The little girl watches, her small hands gripping the edge of the seat. The man gestures to the empty chair beside him. "Sit." Reina doesn't sit. She stands, shoulders squared, calm but firm. "Is there something you need?" His eyes flicker, just for a second, with something that might be amusement or annoyance. "It's impossible to tell. You're not afraid of me." It's not a question. It's an observation. Reina holds his gaze. "Should I be?" A beat of silence. Then from somewhere behind them, a phone buzzes. One of the men standing near the wall, broad-shouldered, stone-faced, dressed in black, stiffens. He pulls his phone from his pocket, glances at the screen, and his jaw tightens. He steps forward, leaning down to whisper in the tattooed man's ear. Whatever he says makes the man's expression go cold. Ice cold. The little girl notices. Her breathing quickens. Her fingers curl into fists. Reina notices too. The man stands abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor. He doesn't look at Reina. He looks at his daughter. "We're leaving." The child doesn't move. She looks at Reina instead, her eyes pleading, desperate. Reina crouches down, meeting her at eye level. "You're going to be okay," she whispers. The little girl's lips tremble. She opens her mouth, closes it, then finally speaks, so softly that only Reina can hear. "Don't leave me." Reina's chest tightens. She wants to say something, anything, but the man is already reaching for his daughter's hand, pulling her gently but firmly to her feet. As they walk toward the exit, the child looks back over her shoulder. Her eyes lock onto Reina's, and then she mouths 2 words. "Help me." The door swings shut behind them. Reina stands frozen in the middle of the dining room, her pulse hammering in her ears. She doesn't know who that man is. She doesn't know what kind of danger just walked out of this restaurant. But she knows one thing for certain. That little girl is in trouble. What kind of monster would a child beg a stranger to save her from? 3 days later, they come back. Reina is wiping down a table near the window when the door opens. She doesn't look up at first. She's too focused on scrubbing a stubborn stain from the wood. But the room goes quiet. That same heavy, suffocating quiet. She lifts her head. And there they are. The man walks in first, his presence filling the space like a storm rolling in. The little girl follows close behind, her hand tucked into his. She's wearing a different outfit this time, a pressed white shirt and a plaid skirt, but her eyes carry the same haunted look. The hostess starts to guide them to a table near the back, but the man shakes his head. Her section. He nods toward Raina. The hostess blinks, confused, then glances at Raina. Of course. Raina sets down her rag and wipes her hands on her apron. Her heart is beating faster than it should, but her face stays calm. She walks over. Welcome back. The man doesn't respond. He pulls out a chair for his daughter, waits until she sits, then takes the seat across from her. His eyes never leave Raina. You'll be serving us tonight. It's not a question. Raina nods. What can I get you? The little girl's eyes light up, just slightly, when Raina looks at her. She doesn't speak, but her gaze follows Raina's every movement. The man orders for both of them. Water, 2 entrees. Nothing unusual. But when Raina turns to leave, the little girl's hand shoots out again, just like last time. This time, she doesn't grab Raina's vest. She places something in her palm. Raina glances down. It's a folded napkin. Small, white, creased carefully. The man doesn't seem to notice. Or maybe he does, and he's pretending not to. Raina closes her fingers around it and slips it into her apron pocket. I'll be right back with your water. She walks toward the kitchen, her pulse pounding in her throat. Once she's out of sight, she pulls out the napkin and unfolds it. Inside, scrawled in shaky pencil, are 3 words. They hurt me. Raina's breath catches. She looks back toward the table. The little girl is staring at her through the crowd, her eyes wide, pleading. And in that moment, Raina knows. This isn't just fear. This is a cry for help. What happens when a waitress becomes the only hope a child is left? The restaurant fills with the usual evening noise, clinking glasses, low laughter, the soft scrape of forks against plates. But Raina can't hear any of it. All she hears is the sound of her own heartbeat. She moves through the motions, refilling water, delivering food, smiling when expected, but her mind is somewhere else. It's on the napkin folded in her apron pocket, on a little girl sitting 2 tables away, picking at her food with trembling hands, on the 3 words she can't stop seeing. They hurt me. When Raina brings the entrees, the little girl doesn't look up. She pushes a piece of chicken around her plate, eyes downcast, shoulders hunched like she's trying to disappear. The man notices. His jaw tightens. He leans forward slightly. Sana, eat. The child flinches. Raina's stomach twists. She sets the plates down carefully, then kneels beside the table, close enough to the girl that their conversation feels private. You don't have to finish it, Raina murmurs. Just eat what you can. The little girl, Sana, looks up. Her eyes are red-rimmed, glassy. She nods once barely. Raina stands, but as she turns to leave, Sana reaches out again. This time, her fingers brush Raina's wrist. Light, desperate. She doesn't say anything. She doesn't have to. Raina squeezes her hand, just for a second, and then walks away. Across the room, near the bar, 2 men in dark coats sit nursing drinks they haven't touched. One of them has his phone out, the screen angled toward Raina. The camera is recording. The other man leans in, his voice low. Boss wants confirmation. The first man nods. She's the one. Look how the kid reacts to her. Good. Makes this easier. Or harder. Depends how attached Solace gets. They exchange a look. Then the first man taps his phone screen twice and sends a video. 3 seconds later, a reply comes through. Remove the waitress first. Why would someone want Raina gone? And what does it have to do with a little girl? The note is taped to her locker when she arrives for her shift. No envelope, no signature, just a single sheet of paper folded twice, the edges sharp enough to cut skin. Raina pulls it free, her fingers moving slowly, deliberately. The handwriting inside is blocky, uneven, written by someone who didn't want to be recognized. Stay away from the girl. Last warning. Her breath stops. She reads it again, then a 3rd time, as if the words might rearrange themselves into something less threatening. They don't. She crumples the paper in her fist and shoves it into her apron pocket, next to the napkin Sanaa gave her. Her hands are shaking, but she forces them still. Someone is watching her. Someone knows. The shift drags on like a bad dream. Every time the door opens, Raina's head snaps toward it. Every time a customer moves too close, her muscles tense. She keeps her face neutral, her movements smooth, but inside, her mind is screaming. Who left the note? How do they know about Sanaa? And what happens if she doesn't listen? By the time her shift ends, the dining room has emptied. The kitchen staff is cleaning up, their voices echoing through the back hallway. Raina grabs her jacket, checks her phone, 3 missed calls from her brother, and heads for the exit. The parking lot is dark. Too dark. The overhead lights are out again. Maintenance has been promising to fix them for weeks, but nothing ever gets done. Raina walks quickly, her keys already in her hand, the sharp edges pressed between her fingers like a makeshift weapon. Her car is parked near the far corner, under a tree that blocks what little moonlight filters through the clouds. She's halfway there when she sees it. All 4 tires. Slashed. The rubber hangs in strips, deflated, destroyed. Black streaks mar the pavement where someone dragged a blade across each one. Raina's heart slams against her ribs. She spins around, scanning the lot. Empty. Silent. But she knows. She's not alone. Somewhere in the shadows, someone is watching. And they're waiting to see what she does next. How far will they go to make her disappear? The shove comes out of nowhere. 1 second, Raina is standing on the curb outside the restaurant, phone pressed to her ear, waiting for her brother to pick up. The next, a hand slams into her back, and she's flying forward. Her phone skitters across the concrete. Her knee hits the ground hard, pain exploding up her leg. She hears the screech of tires, sees headlights barreling toward her, and her body locks up, frozen. She's going to die, but then another hand grabs her arm, strong, fast, and yanks her backward. She crashes into someone's chest, breath knocked from her lungs, and the car roars past, missing her by inches. The wind from it whips her hair across her face. For a moment, she can't move, can't think, can't breathe. Then the voice cuts through the ringing in her ears. Are you hurt? She knows that voice. Raina twists around, and her stomach drops. It's him, the tattooed man, Daehun Solace. He's standing over her, his hand still gripping her arm, his eyes scanning her face like he's checking for injuries. Behind him, 2 men in black suits are already moving. One chases after the car. The other kneels down, picking up Raina's phone and handing it to her without a word. Raina's hands are shaking so badly, she almost drops it. What were you doing here? Daehun's jaw tightens. I had you followed. She blinks. You what? Someone's targeting you. I needed to know if you were safe. Safe. Her voice cracks. Someone just tried to kill me. His eyes go cold. Hard. I know. The weight of those 2 words hits her like a truck. He knew. He knew she was in danger, and he didn't warn her. Raina shoves his hand off her arm and stumbles to her feet. Her knee throbs. Her palms are scraped raw. But the anger burning in her chest drowns out the pain. Why didn't you tell me? Daehun doesn't answer right away. He just looks at her, his expression unreadable. Then, finally, he speaks. Because they're coming for you because you matter to her. The words hang in air between them. Raina's breath catches. Sanaa. This is about Sanaa. And suddenly, everything makes sense. The note, the slashed tires, the shove into traffic. Someone wants her gone, because Sanaa trusts her. What kind of world does this man live in, where kindness is a death sentence? The car pulls up 30 seconds later, a black SUV with tinted windows and chrome accents that catch the streetlights. Daehun doesn't ask permission. He opens the door and gestures for Raina to get in. She doesn't move. I'm not getting in that car. His expression doesn't change. You don't have a choice. Yes, I do. They know where you work. They know where you park. They know your schedule. His voice drops, quieter now, but no less intense. And they won't stop until you're out of the picture. Raina's pulse hammers in her throat. She looks at the SUV, then back at him. Why are you doing this? For the first time, something shifts in his eyes. Something almost human. Because my daughter needs you. And I can't protect her if you're dead. The honesty in his voice catches her off guard. She hesitates. Then, slowly, she climbs into the SUV. The interior smells like leather and cologne. The seats are soft, too soft like sitting in a cloud. One of Dae-hoon's men closes the door behind her, and a second later, he slides in beside her. The car pulls away from the curb, smooth and silent. Raina stares out the window, watching the city blur past. Her mind is racing, trying to process everything that just happened. Someone tried to kill her. Dae-hoon saved her. And now she's sitting in a mafia boss's car, her entire life spiraling out of control. Her phone buzzes in her lap. Unknown number. She hesitates, then answers. The voice on the other end is cold. Calm. Male. You can't save a girl. Raina's blood turns to ice. The voice continues, slow and deliberate, every word a threat. And you won't survive the father. The line goes dead. Raina lowers the phone, her hands trembling. Dae-hoon is watching her, his eyes sharp, calculating. What did they say? She swallows hard. That I'm going to die if I stay. His jaw clenches. He leans forward, his voice low, dangerous. Then we make sure you don't. How does a waitress survive a war she never signed up for? The warehouse smells like gasoline and blood. Raina sits in the SUV, her hands gripping the edge of the seat, while Dae-hoon and his men move through the shadows outside. She can see them through the tinted windows, shapes in the dark, moving with military precision. They're hunting, and she knows who they're hunting for. Dae-hoon had put the pieces together faster than she expected. The phone call, the threats, the attack outside the restaurant. He made a few calls, pulled a few strings, and within an hour, he had a name. The uncle, his late wife's brother. The man who wanted control of the family business. The man who saw Sana as nothing more than an obstacle. And now, Dae-hoon was going to make him pay. Raina's phone buzzes again. She looks down. A text. No number, just an address. And a photo. Her stomach drops. It's Sana. The little girl is sitting in the backseat of a car, her eyes wide, her hands bound with zip ties. She's not crying. She's too scared to cry. Raina's hands shake as she opens the car door and stumbles out. Dae-hoon. He turns, his expression sharp, dangerous. But when he sees her face, something shifts. What is it? She holds up the phone. His eyes go black. For a moment, he doesn't move, doesn't speak. He just stares at the photo, his jaw locked, his fists clenched so tight his knuckles turn white. Then he speaks, and his voice is colder than anything Raina has ever heard. Find them. His men scatter. Raina grabs his arm. I'm coming with you. No. Yes. Her voice is steady, firm. She trusts me. If you go in there alone, she'll be terrified. But if I'm there, he cuts her off. If you're there, you could die. I don't care. Their eyes lock. And for the first time, Raina sees something in his expression that isn't control or calculation. It's fear, not for himself, for her. But before either of them can say anything else, one of his men shouts from across the warehouse. Boss, we found a car. Dae-hoon's head snaps toward the voice. And then he's moving. Raina runs after him, her heart pounding, her legs burning. Somewhere in the distance, tires screech, and a little girl is waiting. Can they reach her before it's too late? The car is already moving when they catch up. Black sedan, tinted windows, license plate smeared with mud. Dae-hoon's SUV roars forward, weaving through traffic, closing the distance. Raina grips the seat, her knuckles white, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. She can't stop thinking about Sana's face in that photo. The fear, the silence, the resignation, like she'd already given up. The sedan takes a hard left, tires screaming. Dae-hoon's driver doesn't hesitate. He follows, cutting off two cars and earning a chorus of angry horns. Then, suddenly the sedan stops. Dead stop, middle of an empty intersection. Dae-hoon's SUV screeches to a halt 20 feet behind it. For a moment, nothing happens. Then the back door of the sedan opens, and Sana stumbles out. Her hands are still bound. Her shirt is torn, but she's alive. Raina doesn't think. She throws open the car door and runs. Sana, the little girl's head snaps up. Her eyes go wide. And then she's running too. They collide in the middle of the street, and Reina drops to her knees, wrapping her arms around the child, holding her tight. Sanaa's body shakes, her breath coming in ragged sobs, but she doesn't pull away. She clings to Reina like she's the only solid thing left in the world. Dae-hoon is there a second later, his hands gentle as he cuts the zip ties from Sanaa's wrists. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. The relief on his face says it all. But then Sanaa does something no one expects. She reaches for Reina's hand, and she doesn't let go. Dae-hoon watches, something unreadable passing across his face. Reina looks up at him, her throat tight. She needs help, real help, not just protection. He nods, slowly. I know. For a long moment, they just stand there, the three of them, in the middle of the empty street, the city humming around them. Then Dae-hoon speaks, his voice low, almost vulnerable. Stay with us. Reina blinks. What? If you walk away now, he pauses, glancing down at his daughter, then back at Reina. Neither of us will survive what comes next. Reina's heart twists. She looks at Sanaa, at the little girl who has no one else, at the man who just admitted he needs help, and she realizes something. She's already made her choice. She made it the moment she knelt beside a scared child and said two simple words. You're safe, and she's going to make sure that stays true, no matter what it costs. 6 months later, the rain comes soft against the windows. Reina stands in the kitchen of a house she never imagined she'd call home. Marble counters, tall ceilings, windows that overlook a garden she still can't believe is real. She's stirring pasta sauce, humming under her breath, when small footsteps pad across the floor behind her. Sanaa appears at her side, clutching a drawing in both hands. For you. Reina wipes her hands on a towel and kneels down, taking the paper carefully. It's a picture, 3 stick figures standing under a rainbow. One tall with dark hair, one smaller with pigtails, and one in the middle holding both their hands. Above it, in wobbly letters, family. Reina's throat tightens. It's beautiful, baby. Sanaa smiles, really smiles, and wraps her arms around Reina's neck. The hug is tight, warm, full of trust that took months to build. When she pulls back, her eyes are bright. Can we have movie night? After dinner. I promise. Sanaa nods and skips off toward the living room, where a pile of blankets is already waiting. Reina stands slowly, the drawing still in her hands, and stares at it for a long moment. She's not a waitress anymore. She's a guardian, a protector, a safe place. And somehow, that's exactly what she was always meant to be. Footsteps echo in the hallway. Heavier this time. Dae-hoon appears in the doorway, his suit jacket gone, sleeves rolled up, looking more human than he did 6 months ago. The ink on his neck still tells stories, but his eyes are softer now. He glances at the drawing in Reina's hand, then at her face. She drew us again. Yeah, 3rd one this week. I know. He steps closer, his voice dropping. You okay? Reina nods, just thinking about how much changes when one person decides to care. Dae-hoon's jaw tightens. For a moment, he doesn't speak. Then he reaches out, his fingers brushing hers. Light, tentative, like he's still learning how to be gentle. Thank you. 2 words. Simple, honest. Reina squeezes his hand. You don't have to thank me. Yes, I do. His voice is rough, raw. You gave her something I couldn't. What's that? Hope. Before Reina can respond, Sanaa's voice calls from the living room. Reina, Daddy, the movie's starting. Dae-hoon's lips twitch, the closest thing to a smile he ever shows. Reina grins. Come on, we can't keep her waiting. They walk together toward the living room, where a little girl sits surrounded by blankets and pillows, her face lit up with joy. And for the first time in a long time, the house feels like what it's supposed to be. Not a fortress, not a cage, a home. Sometimes, the people who save us aren't the ones we expect. They're the ones who show up when no one else will. They're the quiet voices in the chaos, the steady hands in the storm. Subscribe to this channel for more stories that remind us why kindness matters. Drop a comment and tell us who showed up for you when you needed it most. Your story could be the hope someone else is searching for. Until next time, keep believing in second chances. Keep believing in love that fights back. We'll see you soon.